Happy Monday, April 6th. Endrit Sella here, and this is Capital Markets Quickie. Let's get into the week ahead. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital. Learn more at amf-capital.de. Let's dive in. So, first things first, geopolitics is still front and center. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump said he plans to hold a press conference later today with military officials as tensions around the Strait of Hormuz continue to dominate the narrative. And honestly, that's going to set the tone for markets at least in the early part of the week. Now, beyond geopolitics, inflation is back in focus. On Friday, we'll get the March Consumer Price Index, and expectations are pretty hot. Prices are projected to rise 0.9% month over month, pushing the annual rate to 3.4%. That would be a noticeable jump and, importantly, the first reading that really captures the impact of the Iran conflict. Before that, on Thursday, we'll get the PCE data, which the Fed actually prefers. That's expected to show a 0.4% monthly increase and around 2.8% year over year. So, taken together, this week could really shape expectations around interest rates, although right now, markets still think the Fed will stay on hold at the next meeting. Now let's talk earnings, because yes, earnings season is kicking off again. We'll hear from Delta Airlines midweek, which should give us a read on travel demand and fuel costs. And then we've got Constellation Brands reporting as well, offering insight into consumer behavior, basically what people are still willing to spend money on in this environment. At the same time, Wall Street is expecting another strong quarter overall, with double-digit earnings growth projected for the S&P 500. So, expectations are high. Looking back quickly, markets actually ended last week on a strong note. All three major indices snapped their 5-week losing streaks, each gaining at least 3%, as investors reacted to shifting signals out of the Middle East. Now, as for key moments this week, today's press conference is one to watch. Then, on Tuesday, we'll hear from Fed officials. Wednesday brings both earnings and the Fed meeting minutes. Thursday is PCE. And Friday, well, that's the big one with CPI. So yeah, it's one of those weeks where macro, geopolitics, and earnings all collide, and that usually means volatility. All right, that's it for today's Capital Markets Quickie. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and stay in the loop. And if you want more insights, just add me on LinkedIn. Always happy to connect. See you tomorrow morning.